Okay, for the record, this one is not marked, but it is marked, well, it's not marked what's on it. It's marked as Robert Wood, reel number 5.
Okay, this is an unknown place. Let's see.
Oops, there.
Okay, we're on the seashore. That's my mother. That's me. And that is Robert. So this is in
57?
yeah, about then. And that, oh gee, I should know her. So no, it's got to be Robert. So he was born 9 years after me, so that can't be Robert, and it'd be 57. That doesn't work. But this is along the beach. This looks to me like this is in California. It's certainly not. I don't think that's Florida. And this is the golf course you were talking about.
Yeah.
I do not remember the golf course. There's there's the fish. Out come the fish. There didn't used to be limits. There are now.
Well, yeah,
That's Grandpa Hayes.
everybody fished them all out.
Probably. I do not. That's my brother, Rob. Oh, that's a small fish my dad is holding. None of these fish are overly large. But we had a great fish fry. So I'm not really sure which beach this is. See, I would have been, this has got to be California though, so it's got to be somewhere around LA. Looks a little rocky for the beaches near LA. Ah, there's my mom. This is not very easy to distinguish.
No, it's a little dark. It'll be
POP! Pacific Ocean Park. It was the lagoon of where we lived in California. We lived in Port Hueneme, and we loved Pacific Ocean Park. It was called POP because it was pay one price also. So it was like the first all-day pass type situation. And they had fun things there.
Like red elephants?
Yeah, like red elephants. They had a centrifuge that my dad went on ride, and I can remember him making a comment that they said you would fly apart and then come back together, and he said, I hope I come back together with more hair. Because he was balding at the time. Yeah. And we rode those rides. There's my, good grief, my mother.
Mm-hmm.
My mother and Rob. Rob was born in Florida, but this was later. That's Rob and I. And we're back to rocky terrain.
That's your mom, right?
Yeah, that's my mom. She did have longer hair and sometimes wore it back and she curled it. She put it in a ponytail and curled it so pretty. And that's probably Grandma Hayes, and this looks like Lorraine. Yeah. This looks like Lorraine. It looks like she was pregnant at the time. So, it's me and my mom and Grandma and Lorraine. Yeah. And Rob. So I would have been around 11, 12 years old at this time. Oh, we're sending Grandma off on the plane. So she flew with Aunt Lorraine, so obviously Grandpa didn't come with her because she flew. This is the beach.
Doesn't look like the ocean though.
No, it doesn't look like the ocean, but it's not a springs because it's in California. But there are lines in the... like it's a pool. Huh. I don't know. Okay, there's my mom. She's getting stylish. Wearing pants instead of a dress. And there's my grandmother.
Scandalous.
I know. So...
That was you. Right in the camera's face.
I was in the camera's face. This looks like lagoon, so maybe that was... This kind of looks like lagoon. So that may have been the old big lagoon pool. Yeah, this is lagoon. They still have those little boats. Or they did. And there's the first version of Puff. The Magic Dragon roller coaster. All right. Boy. This brother and sister Call, looks like. They had all boys, so I'm not sure who the kids are. And we are at an air show base. Whoa. We went to a lot of those as kids. When we were in Florida, we actually saw a plane crash into a home. It was on a test flight. We grew up around planes. And they're doing the close formation. Forget what that's called when they're on each other's wings. Oh, yes. And always, when Grandpa Hayes came, there was bricklaying to be done. He built retainer walls and fences, and because he was a brick mason. And there's my dad. He learned the skill from his father-in-law. Oh, and I don't know who this little cherub is. I really don't. Huh. Don't know, but there's my Grandpa Wood. He was a mink rancher. And a bunch of his grandkids. Recognize Colin, and this is Kent, my cousin Kent in the front there. And this is at Christmas time. My grandparents, there's my Aunt Lois. So some of the kids would have been hers. And my Uncle Kel, who died, he died from exposure to gunk at Geneva. No, not Geneva, Kennecott Copper. He had lung disease from his work.
Mesothelioma?
Yeah, probably. He had lung disease and passed away from that. So these look like, that looks like one of Aunt Lois' girls. Yeah, these are all cousins on the Wood side. That looks like Grandpa and Grandma Wood's basement. But I may be wrong there because they may not have been in that house that early. It's hard to see faces.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't get to spend many Christmases in Utah. So when we did get to spend a Christmas in Utah, it was a rare treat. Oh, blow up Bambi. Only it's not Bambi. Christmas tree. That's Robert. There's me with my ponytail. By this age, my hair had started going darker. I was a blonde earlier, and that looks like... Okay. It's my dad. And Grandpa and Grandma Hayes. Ah, I remember those pajamas with the leaves on them. It's funny how clothes bring out so many memories. I even remember Colin. That's Colin, his pajamas. And Christmas dinner. So there's Grandma Hayes. So we would have had, that's Uncle Darwin and Aunt Beth. That would have probably been one of Lorene's children. Yeah, because there's Lorene and Scott. So that baby was Kristen or Kelly. Kristen or Kelly. This actually looks like our house in Port Hueneme, but that doesn't fit the time frame very well. But it is, because those are the Call boys. Mel and Doris were Mom and Dad's best friends, and those are the 5 sons. I really liked Richard, who was that boy on the far left. When I got engaged to Dad, he sent me a whole box of red hearts, red candy hearts. We stayed in touch all those years after junior high. So that would be Mel and Doris and their family. That looks like the Los Angeles Temple. Grandma and Mom going into the temple. Whoa.
Washington.
If
Maybe.
yeah, if it's Washington, this film covered a lot of years. I don't specifically remember. Oh, it is though. So we jumped right through California and into Washington, D.C. Oh, those aren't mountains. Oh, maybe not.
Something of life.
Something of life. So maybe this wasn't Washington. This was somewhere in California. Oh yeah, I remember the train. We spent a lot of time with the Calls. So there's Mom and Doris. Doris died of cancer a number of years back. Mel's still alive, but he has Alzheimer's. The very first week we were here in Oxnard, the very first church, Doris was home for some reason, and Mel Call, invited our family over to dinner that very first Sunday. And I thought, how can he invite us over to dinner without permission from his wife? But he did, and that just cemented the friendship. They've been lifelong friends. Mom still sees the Call boys all the time. They stop and see her every time they go through St. George.
So they're like the grandchildren she never had?
They're like extra grandchildren that she never had. Well, she more like kids. They're like the kids she never had because
Oh,
they're
yeah.
my age and Colin's age and Scott's age. They had the 5 boys. That's the Los Angeles Temple. So this is somebody's. Oh, this is Neil and Geneva's wedding. That's
Mhm.
Neil and Geneva. And they were married in the Los Angeles Temple. He was just tall and lanky. Cute, cute couple.
What's their last name?
Wood.
Okay.
He was Aunt Lois's, or no, he's Dad's brother by the middle wife. So,
The dresser that we got was from Geneva.
yeah, probably so. So Neil and Geneva still live in California. The second wife of Colin Harding Wood had 2 children. Neil being the second one. The first one was a little boy who was about 3 years old when she married Grandpa Wood, and he died of a disease not very long after they got married. And he's buried in the cemetery in Salt Lake near Grandpa. I am not sure. That looks like it's just. Oh, that looks like the Idaho Falls Temple. That's kind of weird. There's my father. Yeah, it does. Yeah, that's got to be the Idaho Falls Temple. I don't know of any other who has the cascading waters like that around it. So that's in Idaho. So this would have been on one of our trips. Summer trips. I think. Oh,
With curly hair.
There's Darwin with curly hair, and there's Larry, the youngest of the 4 kids, with Grandpa Hayes. So it's Ernest Harold Hayes, Larry S. Hayes. He had no middle name. S didn't stand for anything. I always thought that was odd. And fuzzy, not
Mhm.
sure. Somewhere on the Hayes side.
I think that's it.